Yeah, exactly. And again, I want to reinforce the American Red Double Cross. The American Red Cross was created by the Rockefeller brothers. They first started the Blood Council of the city of New York that then gave rise to the American Red Cross. So what we're really witnessing when we give blood to these demons, we're really allowing them, they're using our blood to transmit disease so that drug industrialists can make vast fortunes off of humanity's suffering.
This is just hard to deal with, knowing the facts and seeing how diabolical this is. Dr. Horowitz, from studying how they've done things in the past, you predicted the anthrax attack successfully with total precision and said it would be through the mail because you saw their studies on it. Looking at other studies they've done with dark winter and other flu pandemic scenarios for martial law lockdowns, how do you and your crystal ball see them releasing something? What areas of the country? How would they do it? What should police that are waking up but are compartmentalized, what should they be on the lookout for?
Well, I think Los Angeles is the highest likely place that a central intelligence agency, because Rockefeller controls CIA, and CIA is on top of all the infectious disease organizations. That's according to their own documentation. They see infectious disease as a national security risk. So CIA oversees NIAID. Dr. Fauci, he's a puppet of CIA. So we're looking at, if you read the book Death in the Air, Globalism, Terrorism, and Toxic Warfare, like I said yesterday on the show, I came out with the title long before September 11th. And you think about it, Death in the Air, globalism, terrorism, toxic warfare. Very few people were talking about that back then. And evergreen helicopters and the covert operations, the fronts for the CIA that are operating the aircraft, it could either be spraying, they could easily redo what they did in the New York subway systems and in the tunnels of Pennsylvania Turnpike. Years ago, CIA and the United States Congress investigated CIA wrongdoing involved in spreading biological weapons over San Francisco. They could do the same thing.
New York subway, deaths resulted, details remain classified, 1968.
Right, exactly. So these are their capabilities, and again, I believe they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I believe that, because we're all waking up, and I believe that just like you shared with the pre-announcement that Building 7 was already coming down in Europe, that's Thomas Gloscher runs Reuters, intimately connected to the drug industrial.
And it was Reuters, I want to just stop you, it was Reuters. At first, two BBC channels simultaneously reported the exact same text. Their news reporters reading off teleprompters said, Solomon Brothers, Building 7, 47-story building has fallen completely from fires into its own footprint. And then the firefighters are all standing there, and then they hear the countdown. 25 minutes later, they're told, get back, we're bringing it down. This is on CNN video as they're running, and then it blows up. And then BBC said, no, you don't have that video. No, we lost the video. No, it isn't real. Then they made a TV show on BBC last year admitting, okay, we just screwed up. And then the reporter admitted on the BBC News article they wrote, the editor of the BBC News admitted Reuters, quote, screwed up, and an hour before gave us an internal news brief that Building 7 had fallen with how it actually fell. Okay, that's like saying somebody's going to have a heart attack in an hour who's walking along healthy. Police are going to come back to you and say, did you poison them? How did you know that Bob, who was 45 and in perfect health, sitting at a park bench, was going to die in an hour?
They had a crystal ball, Alex.
They had a real crystal ball, and then it came out, Reuters. I don't know if you knew this, Doctor, but you just brought it up. But we discovered Reuters was the one that sent that to BBC.
Yeah, and that, look at also, before anybody knew anything about this H1N1, Reuters reported that it was a combination of avian, swine, and Spanish flu viruses that now they agree, that the scientists agree. How did they know that early on, and how come they reported that? And then when you just consider
then it turns out they had patents years before. Stay there.
Heart.
Strange days have tracked us down.
They're going to destroy us.
To destroy.
If we don't stand up to them. We're going back to Dr. Len Horowitz and Sherry Kane here in a moment. They'll be with us 30 minutes into the next hour. Then I'm going to cover the CPS coming after people's kids for no reason. $15 million fines for garage sales if you have any, even 10-year-old recalled product, having no idea what you're selling. That's all coming up. A bunch of global government economic news is coming up as well today. And we're going to open the phones up in the next hour at 1-800-259-9231. If you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, if you're a police officer, if you're a medical worker, that's what the lines are for. Only for those calls or from people who've been ordered to take shots or who've had them pushed on them at school or work. Anybody who's been in part of these military checkpoints that are popping up, that's coming up in the next hour. 1-800-259-9231. You can also call our hotline here in my studios, not just the Minnesota studios, 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244. We're going back to Dr. Horowitz here in just a minute. I did want to let you know about some of the sponsors that make this radio show possible briefly. One of them is eFoods Direct. Look, in these insane economic and biological times and all the things that are happening, I believe in storable foods. These last more than 10 years in climate controlled, 10 years guaranteed if it's in your garage like mine is. I don't have room in my house. I've got a 3-year supply for my entire family. And I bought other storable foods, didn't like the quality or they were old. These are non-GMO, non-hybrid, freshly packed. Everything but the bananas is grown right here in the U.S. This stuff is packed every month. Biggest outfit out there, longest continually operating. eFoodsDirect.com. You'll never stand in a bread line if you have your own bread. 888-409-5633. Give eFoods Direct a call. Don't procrastinate. 888-409-5633. Or check them out on the web at eFoodsDirect.com. That's eFoodsDirect.com, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Diginet.net. I noticed we were sent a video of National Guard running an illegal checkpoint in Arizona with the police. Somebody shot on a Diginet.net pin. Very inexpensive, high quality, solid state. Press one button, it records audio and video. They've got sunglasses that have a tiny camera and little chip in them that are awesome. In fact, we've got some of these. Don't let the guys forget not to take these to the G20 that's coming up because where they got 2,000 troops on the ground in Pittsburgh. I'm sending 3 guys up there. Burmis is going, Dew, and Douglas. Anyway, side issue. The point is, Diginet.net, Diginet.net. Have something that can be a record in court, anything. Great for journalists, great for people stopped by the police. Diginet.net. That's Diginet.net. Ladies and gentlemen, or give them a call at 888-344-6681, 888-344-6681, Diginet.net, Diganet.net. Now, we're about to go to break. That was a short segment. We're going to come back in the next 30 minutes and take your phone calls for Dr. Leonard Horowitz and the investigative journalist he's collaborating with at fluscam.com, his website. And, of course, we are going to continue with your calls. But when we come back, I do, after this 1-minute break, 70 seconds if you want to be technical, with a station ID. I want to ask him about this Reuters article that I was just mentioning. I just had it in front of me. Well, I'll dig it out during the break, where they are openly saying that all these people are going to die. They are openly saying that that even though there's going to be all these deaths after you take the flu shot, it's not the flu shot. And it's Reuters saying this. This key group that Dr. Horowitz and Miss Kane, Sherry Kane, are saying are connected into all this intimately. So I'll get their take after this quick break when we come back in 70 seconds to start the third hour. They'll be with us for 30 minutes. Toll-free number to join us, 1-800-259-9231 on the flu issue. Okay, that's what we're taking calls on right now. Stay with us. We'll be right back.